promoting yourself can sometimes feel, let's say, icky. Some of us might spend weeks, months, yes, even years overthinking our personal branding efforts. But this doesn't have to be your story. In today's video, I compiled the most effective strategies I've been teaching my clients over these last years. And make sure to watch till the end, where I reveal my favorite tip to start your personal brand today. All right, let's start with tip number 5. Challenge your ick. The questions you want to ask here is, why does this even feel weird? Is this a cultural thing or is it a personal thing? Identifying the root of your awkwardness is your first step on getting past it. And what I like to do whenever I have to change my belief about something is I start a little list of pros and cons to see clearly what kind of benefits that change belief would bring to my life. Try it out and let me know how that worked out for you. And next is step up and own the spotlight. Because look, it's easy to cop out of these moments where you have to be the center of attention, like marketing yourself on social media, being part of that panel, or giving that speech. Yeah, I'm really sick. But let's get serious here for a second. I want you to think about how hiding will impact your business in the long run. Every time you come up with a new excuse, think about the future collaborations that you're missing out on. Think about all the opportunities that are left on the table because people don't know that you exist. And look, maybe you're just starting out and you bought into the idea that business will grow organically. I know I did back then. And don't get me wrong, people will definitely recommend you when you do a good job. However, your business will be way less predictable if you don't take your marketing and your brand into your own hands. And I get it, it's not easy to just throw your fears overboard. That's why it's important to get to the bottom of where this fear of visibility originally came from. And next is ditch perfection. I remember when I launched my first website 8 years ago, I thought it had to be all hip and cool. And I remember having these huge discussions about a logo I thought I needed. And in the end, the website looked amazing, but it really didn't make me any sale. And the reason I'm telling you this is that, especially in the beginning, you might not really know what works. And because you don't know what works, you might end up in this spiral where nothing really feels good enough. At the same time, you might feel that anything you put out there represents such a huge part of yourself, it might be hard to even imagine pushing that publishing button. And if you know that feeling, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you about that. So let me tell you the story of Zoe. Zoe became my client in 2020 when she was about to run a retreat business in Barcelona. This business has been my dream, but it also has been on hold for many years because I wanted to find the perfect location. And when I finally did, Coronavirus. The world just shut down. So when I asked her if she could take that offer online, she explained to me that there simply wasn't enough community built around the business. And because she was holding back for such a long time, she was lacking information about her ideal client. So let me ask you, how many of your ideas have lost momentum because you first wanted to get something just right? The thing is that you're not falling behind because of the mistakes you might make. You're falling behind because you're too afraid to make them. All right, next is close the taste gap. The most common thing I observe, especially amongst professionals who turn into creators to promote their work, is that they'll experience a version of the taste gap. The taste gap is a phenomenon best described by Ira Glass, an editor and radio host at NPR.
Nobody tells people who are beginners, and I really wish somebody had told this to me, there's a gap. That for the first couple years that you're making stuff, what you're making isn't so good, okay? It's not that great. It's really not that great. It's trying to be good. It has ambition to be good, but it's not quite that good. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, your taste is still killer. And your taste is good enough that you can tell that what you're making is kind of a disappointment to you. You know what I mean? A lot of people never get past that phase. A lot of people at that point, they quit. And the thing I would say to you is everybody goes through that. And for you to go through it, if you're going through it right now, if you're just getting out of that phase, or if you're just starting off and you're entering into that phase, you got to know it's totally normal. And the most important possible thing you could do is do a lot of work. Do a huge volume of work.
So if you find yourself in that situation where you can't even imagine to produce anything that doesn't live up to the high standards in your head, then the only thing that you can do to get going is to welcome the idea that this is the time for bad work. And I know it sounds hard, but once you give yourself permission to play around for a while, you can start asking yourself, what's the minimum I can deliver? And see how I'm saying the minimum, because remember, the idea in your head is so big, it can never live up to what you can actually produce right now. And the point is that that's absolutely fine, because that's part of the process. You want to get to understand your baseline. If you're into video, your baseline might be to film one listicle per week and upload it. And once you get there, what you want to do next is give yourself less time for execution. When I started to write the first scripts for this channel, it took me forever because I gave myself ridiculously long deadlines. And the thing with deadlines is that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. It's called Parkinson's law. So this means if you give yourself a week for a task that should only take up 2 hours, it will end up taking a week. And your brain will find all kinds of ways to add complexity to it. But when you give yourself less time, that's when you'll reduce the task to what's essential. So practice saying things like, that's perfectly good enough for today. And then I want to encourage you to take that baseline of yours and start improving it in small steps, banking on the compound effect. And our last tip is elevate every day with the 1% rule. So a technique that I frequently rely on here is James Clear's 1% rule. So basically, the 1% rule states that minor consistent efforts can culminate in significant outcomes. According to the rule, if you enhance something by just 1% each day throughout the year, you'll find yourself 37 times better at the end of it. Just think about where your brand could be at if you gave yourself permission to iterate maybe 2 or 3 years. You guys, we covered a lot today, and before we sign off, I just want you to know I'm here to help you gain more confidence in this. So whatever question you might have regarding personal branding, let me know in the comments below or send me a message on Instagram. And if you want to learn more right away, check out this playlist right here. Take care, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.